What's up, guys? JP back at you once again, bringing you guys another DVD/Blu-ray update, but we also got a ton of VHS, we have a Laserdisc, and a couple of magazines that I'm going to throw in this update for fun. This is months and months worth of stuff, so it's going to be a long one, going to leave it in one video, and we better get right into it, because if not, it's going to be insanely long. But this is a lot of stuff, guys. It's going to be fun to go through this stuff. So first up here, I did grab a couple of magazines. And I'm not a magazine collector. I only own a handful of Horror Hounds, maybe one Fangoria. I don't even own any Rue Morgues or anything like that. But I do really like horror magazines, and if I could find them cheap, I would buy them more often. But with the newly announced, I guess, news that Fangoria is returning, plus we were covering a specific set of films on one of the podcast episodes, I went to this all-day John Carpenter film fest, which showed 4 John Carpenter movies, starting with Dark Star, then They Live, The Thing, and Prince of Darkness. And in the lobby they had vendors set up with all kind of cool like horror action figures and stuff like that, and there was one guy who had a bunch of Fangorias. So I picked up 2 Fangorias. I picked up this one right here, which is Angelique. It's issue 141, Angelique from Hellraiser Bloodline. We were covering these Hellraiser films, so I figured it would be kind of cool to read through this a little bit. And then we have another Fangoria here, which I'm not sure what issue this is, but it's dealing with Hellraiser 2 and has an exclusive interview with Clive Barker. So these were kind of cheap, you know. I think they were about like $3 or $4 each, and I figured I would just grab them since we were doing the podcast literally the next day. And I was like, oh, I'll check these out, you know, that's pretty neat. So yeah, Hellraiser 2 and 4 Fangoria issues. These are among the first Fangorias I own. I know Jeremy's been getting into collecting them. That's not something I'm trying to do right now, but if I see them here and there, I might give them a shot or whatever if they're cheap, because they are very nostalgic and cool. I didn't grow up reading them, but it's cool seeing some of the articles, and there's actually a lot of information on films that ended up never happening in them, so really cool. After that, we have this Laserdisc here, which I got from my friend Carly. She got it for me for Christmas. I recently got a Laserdisc player, so here and there I want to pick up a Laserdisc, and mainly just films that I absolutely love, like Phantasm. Phantasm is one of my favorite horror films of all time. This is awesome. Cover art on here. I might even frame this. I'm not 100% sure. If you guys know the size frame you need for Laserdiscs, let me know. It's a really cool collectible item to have in your collection. It's not that practical to watch a Laserdisc, really. You know, it's like kind of annoying. Giant ass discs, you know, and stuff like that, but it's really a cool collector's piece, so I'm happy to have this, and I thank Carly very much for getting me that for Christmas. Really cool thing. Alright, let's get into the DVD/Blu-ray/VHS. I guess we'll start with the VHS. So, starting with the VHS, I got all kind here, guys. So I got this one, which apparently is part of a box set. But it's only one film here, and that is Son of Godzilla. Apparently, if you look at the spine here, this spine is supposed to make up like a picture of Godzilla. You guys know how like the Elm Street box set does that, and some other ones. But this was the only one there. I did pick this up because I believe that this Godzilla is actually a little hard to find. I don't think that it's on DVD, or if it is, it's out of print. So I picked it up. I hear this one is absolutely atrocious. I mean, it looks bad from the back of it, but it's one of the Godzillas I didn't own, and if it's also hard to find on DVD or never been on DVD or out of print or whatever, then it makes this VHS even cooler to have, which is mainly what I want when looking for VHS, but they're so nostalgic I can't stop myself from buying them sometimes. And lately my Goodwill has been great for VHS. Usually it sucks. Like, I'll go once or twice a week and won't find anything. But there was one night I went, and it was just like this massive, like, you know, 25 titles, and I bought a lot of them. But yeah. Anyway, moving on here, we have Death Wish 4. This is a Death Wish film that I actually have never seen. I haven't seen any of the Death Wish films. And I didn't own this one. I had Death Wish 1, 2, and 3. but I didn't own 4, so I was like, okay, this is a cool Canon version. I don't own it. I guess I'll pick it up, you know, $1. So yeah, Death Wish 4, grab this one, Charles Bronson. I've actually been really interested to check these out, especially with the new Death Wish remake coming out by Eli Roth. I've got all of a sudden very interested in the Death Wish series. After that, we have a couple of Hitchcocks here. We have Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window, which is the only other Hitchcock film I've seen besides Psycho. But it's literally been since I've been a kid that I've seen Rear Window, so I really don't remember it. But I have really been wanting to get into some Hitchcock, and luckily I find these VHS real cheap. Some people are afraid to watch VHS because the picture quality is so much different than DVD, and how Blu-ray, it's like insanely different. But I actually don't mind it. Like, I don't feel like it hurts my viewing experience at all when I watch something on VHS, unless it's like really messed up. Like, hell, I watched The Wicker Man for the first time on VHS a few months ago and absolutely loved it. So I don't think it hurts my viewing at all. I know Hitchcock's films are beautiful, so maybe it would, but I'll probably watch this on VHS. I would like to eventually get that amazing like Blu-ray Essential Collection or whatever it is, but that's probably a long time from now. Then we got another one here, Frenzy. This is another one that I've never seen, but it looks really cool. Hitchcock is the man. So really excited to check out these eventually, which I believe those two are from the same line because they have like this collection line on them. After that, I have one more Hitchcock here, and this one I grabbed simply because it was in a really cool clamshell, and that is Alfred Hitchcock's North by Northwest. And this is, I love these clamshells, you know. This one was put out by Warner Brothers, but they like stand up. You guys can't see it, but they like have a good balance to them where they can stand, and I don't know, they're just neat, you know. I like these things, but yeah, I've never seen this one. I'll check it out eventually. After that, I found this film, and this one was not in the best condition, but I just have never heard of it, and it looked kind of cool, like an exploitation film, so I grabbed it. It is Purgatory, and it says framed, imprisoned, violated, abandoned. So this just sounds like some action exploitation, like drama type stuff. So, you know, sounds like maybe like a women in prison film, and I do like those, so I decided to give it a shot. After that, we have a film that, the only reason I grabbed this, like, this is a very common movie, but I don't own it in any format, so I was like, oh, I haven't seen this in forever. I know it was recently released on Blu-ray, but that is The Good Son, starring Macaulay Culkin. This movie is awesome. I really, really like this movie. I remember seeing it on TV all the time. I used to watch it like anytime it came on, but I haven't seen it in years and years and years. So this movie and like The Orphan would be like a good double feature. Both of them have like similar tones and styles to them. But yeah, The Good Son is good stuff. After that, we have Phantom of the Opera, starring Robert Englund. I actually own this film on Blu-ray. This isn't the best condition VHS here, but it's not too bad either. And I don't know, it was just like the cover kind of grabbed me. I was like, oh, this is a cool cover. I want this in my collection. Probably a little silly. Like, there's certain titles that you really don't need on VHS, but like this isn't even a favorite movie of mine. I do really like the performance by Robert Englund, but it's not something that's very nostalgic for me. I didn't see it until my 20s. But I don't know, the cover just reminded me of VHS back in the day, so I grabbed it. It's a buck. What can I say? Like, yeah, I can't complain. This is another title I actually don't own in any format, so that's why I picked it up, and that is The Stepfather. And this was classic HBO video, which I do like that. It's like very nostalgic for me. Like, I used to watch a lot of HBO when I was a kid, especially when it was like free. You know, they do like the free weekend and stuff, because there were some times where I didn't have it, but when we got like the free weekend, I would just watch everything on there. But The Stepfather 2, I've definitely seen when I was a kid. I think I've seen all three of The Stepfathers when I was a kid, but I can't really remember, and I've been wanting to check this one out because I absolutely love the first Stepfather, and I really wanted to see where this one went, just because I can't remember it at all. But yeah, so The Stepfather 2, happy to finally own in some way. The DVD was always a little pricey. After that, I don't know why I grabbed this. I think I might not even own this actually on VHS. But we have Halloween 2 here. And this doesn't look like the best edition of Halloween 2. I don't even know who put this out. Good Times put this out. So it's kind of a basic edition of Halloween 2. But I grabbed this simply because I have like a little collection of Halloween VHS up there. And I definitely didn't own this version of Halloween 2. But I might not have actually owned Halloween 2 at all. So I grabbed this one just because. After that, we have Stephen King's The Tommyknockers. This is actually another film that I don't own in any format. It is available on DVD and stuff like that, so I did plan on picking it up eventually. And I've never seen The Tommyknockers, so I figured, you know, what the hell, grab it on VHS. It's cheap. $1 is cheaper than buying however much the DVD is. So if I really like it, then I'll eventually pick up the DVD. After that, this is just a film that I had never heard of, so I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of, seems like horror on a boat type stuff, and we have Dead Calm. I've never heard of this movie, I've never seen it, so I think Luis, the homie, horror business, he said that it was bad when I posted on Instagram, so probably picked up a bad one there, but whatever. After that, we have, oh, this is pretty cool. So we have Salem's Lot, the movie. And the reason I picked this up, now I'm not 100% sure here, but it says that it's 112 minutes, which is like, it's like an hour and, man, I'm so bad at math. So 90 minutes is an hour and a half, and then 100 minutes is an hour and 40 minutes, and so it's like an hour and 50 minutes. I picked this up, Jesus Christ, I make myself look like an idiot in every video, but I can't remember how long the original Salem's Lot is, but for some reason it makes me think that this is a shorter version. I didn't look at both versions. I know it was a mini series, and for some reason under 2 hours seems like short. I feel like this movie was like 3 hours. But the reason I picked this up is because, one, I just like the cover, and two, I'd heard that there was a version of Salem's Lot that was a condensed version, like a movie cut. And I thought that this might be it. So I wanted to see it because I wanted to see how that movie would play trimmed down. Because Salem's Lot is really good, but is slow. It's a very slow movie. And it's one of Tobe Hooper's better films, but I want to see what it plays like in the like movie cut version. After that, we have the Amityville Horror. Believe it or not, I've actually never watched this on VHS, like even back in the day. Like I don't think I ever rented it on VHS, and I always like these covers that are like not artwork, it's just like a photography still. They always crack me up. But yeah, I grabbed the Amityville Horror, and the main reason I grabbed the Amityville Horror is because I planned on buying this Amityville Horror 2, The Possession, and I figured, well, I might as well buy both of them because they had both of them there. And I absolutely love Amityville 2, The Possession. And this is a prime example of a title that I would have bought, even though I have Amityville 2 on DVD and twice on Blu-ray. I want it on VHS because it's one of my favorite movies, one of my favorite sequels of all time. And sometimes, believe it or not, like I just did this back in October with The Evil Dead, the original Evil Dead. I have it on DVD, I have it on Blu-ray, but I had a VHS of it, and I was like, I'm watching it on VHS. And it's just a different experience. It just takes you back to when you were a kid. It's all nostalgic. It's really a pointless format to collect, but I like doing it because it's nostalgic to me, and since they are so cheap, you know, $1 or $2, I don't feel like I'm wasting money. I'm more worried about wasting space, because I don't have the space for it. But, yeah, I don't know. After that, this is a prime example of a title that I would 100% pick up whether I collect VHS or not, and that is the Amityville Curse, which is sealed here. Now, it says previously viewed. I don't know how that works, but it seems to be in really good condition. And it is a Vidmark release, which I believe is now owned by Lionsgate. I could be wrong on that. And I think this is the Amityville that's never been released on DVD, but I could be wrong. There's one of them that's never been released, Region 1 on DVD. I think it's this one. So that's a cool title to get. Like, when you're hunting for VHS, that's all you hope for, is to find stuff that's not on DVD. Secondary, find stuff that you don't own on DVD, and then third, just nostalgic nature of the release. But this is a pretty cool find. I was really happy about this. After that, we have The Omen. And what's funny about this is I was gifted a huge box of VHS tapes when I was a kid, of sealed VHS. And in that box, 4 movies existed, and it was The Omen. The Omen 2, The Omen 3, and The Omen 4. And my entire ownage, like, when I owned those things for years, I had never watched any of the Omen films. Like, I had tried before, and I just wasn't, like, into it, and I would just shut it off. But it's so funny that I've since given those away, and now I got them back. Weird. So there's The Omen. It's like I'm reliving that childhood of not watching these sealed copies of The Omen. And I got Omen, Damien, Omen 2, which I've since seen The Omen, but I've never seen The Omen 2 or 3. Actually, Omen 3 is the final conflict, so I got that one. That one's sealed too. I don't know, man. It was like, took me back, so I was like, I gotta buy these. And it didn't have The Omen 4, but, you know, whatever. And then this one here, I had to buy this because this was sealed, and that's Child's Play 2. I just like this cover. Won one of over 1,000 prizes. I wonder if I'm a winner. There's a little the free decoder card inside. Huh. What if this was a winner, right, and nobody ever opened it? That would be funny. Wonder if they would honor it. Probably not. Probably expires. And then finally here, guys, we have Children of the Corn 3, and we have a sealed copy of Children of the Corn 4. I've actually had a chance to buy Children of the Corn 4 sealed so many times in my life on VHS. And I don't know, man. I figured I already own, like, Children of the Corn 1 and 5, so I might as well grab 3 and 4 since I own them on VHS anyway. I really want 2. That's like the main one I want anyway. And they're hard to find. I've never seen a copy of 2 in the wild. I used to rent it all the time when I was a kid. That's why I wanted. But anyway, that's the VHS. That's a long section for the VHS. So try to be a little quicker here. But yeah, so moving on to the DVDs here, we have a few non-horror TV series that I picked up. So I seen this at Goodwill, and I had to grab it. So this is the first and second season of the Ren and Stimpy show, uncut. I used to watch this show all the time when I was a kid, and I've always known that it was like sort of an adult show that was like cut down for kids. So I'm actually curious to see it. Like, I know that there was one release that had, like, I don't know, like bikini chicks with big boobs and stuff like that. I'm not sure if this is from this set or it's like another one, like, you know, some sort of other set that came out. I don't know, but hey, this was a cool find. I think I only paid like $2 for this too, so it was definitely worth it for that. And after that, I grabbed this for $4, a little bit more expensive for Goodwill. Sometimes they put their own prices on them, which is annoying. But I don't know. I've always been kind of curious on this this show, and that's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the beginning. This is the complete first season here. This was on Nickelodeon. It's like fairly newer of a show. Like, I think just in the last like 6 or 7 years it came out. Yeah, 2012 to 2013. I'm not crazy about the look of the Turtles and the animation and stuff like that, but I figured I would check it out. I've actually heard good things about this show, even from people who are huge fans of the original show, which I really like the original show too. So I decided, yeah, you know what, I'll give this a shot for $4, and I like that they were all in individual cases. I don't collect very much non-horror unless it's like TV series, which I'm a huge fan of watching TV series. I wish I had the time to dedicate to them like I used to, but I do collect TV series as well. And then after that, I actually had this in my laptop bag because I was going to watch it when I was doing night audit at work, and I totally forgot about it. Just before I did this update, I was like, didn't I get that thing? Where'd that go? And that is War of the Worlds, the complete series. I'm going to check this out maybe today, like at least 1 or 2 episodes, just so I can give some thoughts on it, because it was sent to me as a review copy from Paramount and CBS DVD, so I do need to get to that a little bit. Totally forgot about it, honestly, my bad. But yeah, 43 episodes on 11 discs. I actually like these new box sets that CBS and Paramount are doing, because they're just like an easier, like storage wise, like they don't waste space. They're very simple. I actually like them. I know some people bitch about them, but it makes them a lot cheaper too. Like these new cases and stuff like that are a lot cheaper. All right, we're gonna get into the DVDs now. So first up here we have an umbrella, and that is the Visitors. This is from the director of Road Games, I believe. This is sort of like a newer Ozploitation film. Gonna check this one out very quickly. Yeah, it's from the director of Road Games and the writer of Razorback. So it's like literally like Ozploitation, you know, family right there. So yeah, really really cool to see that. You know, it kind of has a history of Ozploitation. It's like a newer film. I think it's newer. Is it newer? I don't even know. Yeah, well, it's like early 2000s, so I'll check that. I've never heard of that one. This one was a film from Umbrella as well, and I actually didn't really care for this one that much. It's Out of the Shadows. It really wasn't that good. It was kind of bland. I don't really remember much about it. And then we have another one here. This is Cannibal Apocalypse from Umbrella. And this film has never been released on Blu-ray, but they did re-release it on DVD here. There's another company in the US who released it on DVD, but I think it might be out of print now. I'm not sure. And this movie is awesome. I watched this the other day, starring John Saxon. Basically, this guy in Vietnam gets bit by a POW. Years later, he begins to crave human flesh, and it's like a cross between like a virus film and like a cannibal film. But it's really cool. Obviously, themes of like post-traumatic stress disorder and stuff like that are like woven into the film because of dealing with, you know, soldiers who return home with all kind of problems and things like that. So, really cool movie. If you've never seen it, definitely check it out. Umbrella is awesome. They put out a lot of cool stuff. After that, we have this one I just got in the other day. I haven't watched it yet, but it is a full moon release. It's Mad Foxes. But Moods actually reviewed it on this podcast that we just recorded, so Wednesday you'll hear talk about this. But it looks crazy. It looks, you know, really insane. It looks very like exploitive and stuff like that. So that'll be a fun one to watch. He said he can't wait to hear my feelings on that one. After that, Doppelganger sent these, and I think that one of these copies is like has an error, but they sent 2 copies of this, so I think one is like a replacement copy. This is one of those films. I didn't get to it last year. It's Evil in the Time of Heroes, which is like a period piece like zombie film starring Billy Zane. I heard that it was okay at best, but I had so many things to watch for 2017 that I just didn't get around to it. After that, I just got this one in the mail from Frolic Pictures, and this, oh man, this cover is not that great, if I'm being honest. This is Naked Massacre and Horror Express double feature. Yeah, it's, I don't know, they're doing these like limited Frolic double features, which this is volume 18, so there's 18 of these, but it seems like it's a lot of like public domain, like different films like that. But Naked Massacre is from 76, so I will watch this because of the fact that I am covering 76 films soon here. So that's that one. After that, this one I got a while ago from Intervision. It was a really cool movie. It's kind of like a lost film, or it hadn't been really released. It's called Beyond the Seventh Door, and it essentially is a Canadian horror film about like these people stuck in like this place where they have to go through each room, and each room gets, you know, more dangerous and stuff like. It was really cool. Check it out if you've never seen it. It's definitely like a nice little gem from horror history that's cool to see. After that, I picked this one up at a we have this place called Cash and Culture out here, and it's basically like a used media store, but also has like, you know, like all kind of like it's more of like video games, but also has like movie stuff, and there's like just random like little like action figures and like comic books, stuff like that. It's just like a kind of like media / culture store, but I go there and they have some stuff, like it's usually not priced very well. Like sometimes you can get a deal. They have this thing, if you buy 3 things you get $2 off or whatever, so they do like decent there, but it's still like close to like eBay prices or stuff like that. But because it's fun to go in there and look and see what they have, I usually try to pick up something, and I like supporting the store because they're kind of cool, you know, they're nice in there and stuff like that. But this is a Tartan Asian Extreme. I'll pretty much pick these up whenever I see them because I kind of like this label, even though I only own a few, and that is Ghosts of May Nak, which I want to say this might be like a Vietnamese horror film. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm not huge into the ghost stories, but you know, whatever. I picked it up. Pretty cool. After that, we have Hostel, and I actually owned Hostel, but for whatever reason my copy is scratched, so I had to grab another copy, and this is actually a different cut of Hostel, so that was kind of cool. Absolutely love Hostel. We reviewed the trilogy very recently. This one I picked up back for our show in October, which is Ernest Scared Stupid. This movie's awesome. You know, it's a really fun movie. I like Ernest. It's slapsticky. It's cool. I grew up with Ernest, so I don't mind it at all. It's a lot of fun. After that, we have The Messengers, which I've never seen, but you know, I've always wanted to check out. It seems like one of those movies that came out like, you know, around that era where I wasn't really watching everything. Like mid-2000s, so I wanted to eventually see these. I always got these movies and Grave Encounters confused. And then we have The Messengers 2, which I believe was actually written as the original Messengers film, and then they rewrote the script and wrote The Messengers, and then they wanted to do a sequel, so they just used the original script and and did that. I think I've heard that story before because Todd Farmer actually wrote these films or whatever. But yeah, that's The Messengers 2, so maybe we'll do a double feature on the podcast sometime. Derek hooked me up with this. This is from Severin. It's called Hardware. I've never seen this film, but it looks kind of cool, kind of weird. Kind of a weirder Severin release, because it doesn't, I don't know, it's just different. After that, I picked this up at that same store, Cash and Culture. This was in Old School Anchor Bay. I've never seen this film, so I figured I would grab it. And that is Slayer. You know, Anchor Bay, got the Old School Anchor Bay logo on there, so grabbed it. I don't really collect old Anchor Bays or anything like that, but I just figured I would grab that. After that, we have Cry Wolf, and this is a movie that I remember like seeing back in the day and thought it was okay. And damn it, this isn't full screen. What the hell? Are they all in full screen? I didn't even realize that. Damn it. Anyway, I just never revisited it and figured I would eventually get to it, and I did. After that, Derek actually sent me this because we covered this guy's films, and it was actually really hard to find. This is a bootleg. It's a really good bootleg, though. And that is Andrew Bianchi's film called Massacre. This movie was not good. I don't recommend seeking out the bootleg. After that, another one of those like pickups for cheap at that Cash and Culture, and it's Blood and Chocolate. I'm not really sure this movie will be very good at all, but it's like a werewolf film or a vampire film or something. I think it's werewolf, so figured I would give it a shot. I like werewolf films, so it's one that I haven't seen. This one has been on my list forever. This is a film by Mike Flanagan. I've always wanted to see this. It's Absentia. I've heard so many good things about this movie, and I just have never got around to checking it out. So I definitely have been a very big fan of Mike Flanagan. I've pretty much liked every movie he's done that I've seen. Not pretty much, I did like every movie that he's done. So I wanted to see Absentia, because I hear that's one of his better movies. After that, we have Joyride 2 unrated. I love the first Joyride, but I've never seen Joyride 2, so I figured I'd finally grab a copy of it. After that, this was way back in, this was way back in November when I got this, and that was during the Black Friday sale. I grabbed Tremors 5 Bloodlines. Turns out I already owned Tremors 5, so that was really dumb of me. I owned it on Blu-ray, in fact, and I thought I didn't own this film, and for some reason I did. I don't know when or where I got it, but yeah, I own Tremors 5 already, so this will just go into the contest pile eventually. Alright guys, next up I got a awesome little 4-film pack here that I got this from Bull Moose, and it was one of those titles that I had in my wish list for a long time, and I basically just used it to kind of pad out my total to get free shipping. But that is the 4-film collection here of some aquatic killers, and we have Octopus, Octopus 2, River of Fear, Crocodile, and Blood Surf. So these movies, I've seen both octopuses back in the day, octopies, I don't know how that really works, and I just have always wanted to revisit them. They came out in 2000 and 2001, which was like prime sci-fi era, you know, late 90s into the early 2000s. Like Sci-Fi Channel always used to run these cool movies, and I remember they always ran Octopus and Octopus 2, and I used to like them a lot, but I don't really remember them. I haven't seen them since probably they aired. And then Crocodile is actually a Tobe Hooper film that I actually like. It has like some CG issues and stuff like that, but it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool movie. And then Blood Surf, which I've never seen. So this was under $5. I was really happy to pick this up because the actual regular... I bought this mainly for the Crocodile because it was a Tobe Hooper film I didn't own, and I wanted to get all of his films. And the regular DVD is like a little pricey, so definitely a cheaper way to grab that. And then, let's see here, after that we have Death Wish, which I got out of the, I believe, $5 bin from Walmart, and I just wanted it because I owned the other Death Wish films. Oddly enough, I didn't own the first one, so I figured, or is that how that worked? I think I had 2 and 3, and then I just had got 4, so then I wanted 1, or vice versa, I'm not really sure. But yep, Death Wish. So I'm definitely going to dig into those very soon. After that, we have Slaughter Claws. I had to buy this because I had to cover it as a Patreon. This movie was absolutely awful. Like, I don't even want to talk about it. Do not spend money on that movie. I don't care how much you want all the Christmas movies ever made, Christmas horror. Do not. After that, I got this for Christmas from the Archive collection here, and that is The Mangler. This was another Tobe Hooper film that I didn't own, so I figured it was one that I put on my wish list, and Carly actually got it for me for Christmas, so that was really cool, because this is a little pricey for a DVD, you know, Archive collection always is, so I figured I would, you know, have somebody else buy it for me, so I didn't have to do it myself. After that, we have another Tobe Hooper film here. This is an old school Anchor Bay as well. This is in like perfect condition, by the way. But that is Spontaneous Combustion, and I didn't own this. It's been on my list for a while. It's out of print. I believe Code Red released a Blu-ray of it, but I don't really buy Code Red, so you know, I decided to just wait and hold off for the DVD. And it eventually came down in price. After that, another pickup that I got from the Cash and Culture store, Anaconda's, the second Anaconda film. I seen this in the drive-in, actually, and I actually like it. It's actually not a bad little sequel follow-up. I really like the first Anaconda, and this one's not bad. It's kind of fun. After that, we have a movie. This is technically not really a horror film, but I've always loved this movie. I grew up with it, and I just really was in the mood to grab it and watch it, and that is Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. A lot of you guys probably don't know I have a podcast that is not the 22 Shots. It's the Married with Children podcast. Don't ask how I got involved in it. It's a long story, but we're eventually going to cover this in one of our Patreon exclusives because it stars Christina Applegate, who of course we know from Married with Children. So yeah, that's Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, and it's in a cool snapper, you know. After that, Austin Schroyer actually gave me this, and I guess he was shocked that he realized that I don't own this film on Blu-ray, and that is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is my favorite horror film of all time, but I do not own it on Blu-ray, which is just crazy. That's insane. But I finally have it on Blu-ray here. Awesome. 40th Anniversary Collector's Edition. I've thought about buying this so many times, but now I don't have to because Austin hooked me up with it. Thank you, homie. I really appreciate it. This is another title from back in November when Black Friday was going on. Picked this up at Walmart, and that's Rob Zombie's 31. I'm not a huge fan of this movie, but I am a huge fan of Rob Zombie, so it was one of those titles that I wanted to throw in the collection and have in case we eventually cover Rob Zombie films. And you know, honestly, like, I would have bought this regardless because I collect all his movies when they come out, and I got it for a good price. So after that, we have Cult of Chucky, a movie I was really excited for in 2017, but it was probably one of the most disappointing watches of 2017. I hated where they went with the story. It feels like we're just going down that road again, which always seems to be so hard to come back out of, the road of Seed of Chucky and stuff like that. I feel like this movie's just jumping the shark over and over again. But yeah, that's Cult of Chucky. It was alright. I mean, I was a little harsh on it, but I think I was because I was so disappointed. After that, we have Umberto Lenzi's Nightmare City. This is a Raro release, which Derek hooked me up with this. Thank you very much, homie. I really appreciate it. I think he upgraded to like an 88 films release, or whoever put it out, also on Blu-ray. And he hooked me up with this, so awesome. That's really cool. We covered that back in November for Italian Horror Month. After that, so check this out. Right after I bought that VHS of Death Wish 4, like 2 days later, I went to Big Lots, which Big Lots and Goodwill are connected in the same plaza. Like, they're right next to each other where I live. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, you know, let's go check out Big Lots today. And they had Death Wish 4, so on Blu-ray for $3. So just, I think, like $2 more than I paid for the VHS. I couldn't pass it up. So now it's just weird how stuff like that happens. But yeah, oh, I guess we're into the Blu-rays now. I didn't even realize. Yeah, so now we're officially into the Blu-rays a couple of Blu-rays ago. I just had everything stacked on top of each other. So after that, we have 976 Evil. This was Lionsgate, or not Lionsgate, Sony. I don't know, like, I thought this might have been like the first in like a new line from them or something like that. But basically, it's a cool little release here. It's like supposed to look retro, which I thought was pretty cool. I don't know if they were just testing the waters, but this was actually pretty cheap, and it includes an alternate home video version, which was really neat. And actually, I think this actually has, yeah, it has a digital copy as well. This is from director Freddy Krueger, obviously Robert Englund. But yeah, this is a fun little movie. It's not bad at all. I like 976 Evil. Haven't seen it in a while. Okay, next is a complete dumbass moment by me. This is next level dumbassness right here. So, back on Black Friday, I grabbed a copy of Joyride 3 Roadkill for $1.88. I was like, whoa, that is such a good price, you know. I'm really excited about that, you know, $2, and I got a copy of Joyride 3. And then, flash forward to this week, I went to Big Lots, and I was like, oh, sweet, Joyride 3, and it's only $2.88, under $3. That's like such a good price. And I bought it, and then when I was putting this update together, I was like, why do I have 2 copies of Joyride 3, and why is this one cheaper? So I literally bought the same movie at the same place for $1 more. That is so dumb. That is so dumb. I gotta find a way to stop doing this, because I remember sitting there thinking, like, I never bought Joyride 3, and really what I should have did was checked, you know. I don't know how I would have checked, but oh my god, I like, this is like gotta be like the 6th time I've done this. I don't know why I keep doing this. Like, I have to find a way to catalog these things and have them on my phone and look and see if I own something, if I'm ever suspect on it. But yeah, so the more expensive version is gonna go into the contest pile, which I'll eventually give away, probably on the podcast. Alright, let's continue along here. We have another Big Lots pickup. We have Wrong Turn 2 Dead End. I think I own all of the Wrong Turn films on DVD and none of them on Blu-ray, but 188 for Wrong Turn 2, which is one of the best in the series. Like, I just couldn't pass it up. So I did grab that one on Blu-ray. Alright, and next up here we have Annabelle. And I actually went and seen Annabelle 2 in the theater, and I'd never seen the first Annabelle, and I know that a lot of people say that it's bad and the Annabelle 2 is a much better film, but I liked Annabelle 2 so much that I was just, the curiosity got me to pick up the original Annabelle, which was, I think, under $5, so yeah. Check it out eventually. And then we have The Conjuring 2 here, which I owned the first Conjuring, but I didn't own this one, and after I seen Annabelle 2, I was like, oh, I need to pick up the other Conjuring films, being Annabelle and then The Conjuring 2. And I really like this movie. I seen it in the drive-in, but I really don't remember it that much, so I will revisit it eventually. And then after that, we have Annabelle Creation, which was sent to me by Warner Brothers. I reviewed this. This is an awesome movie. Absolutely loved it. Like, just missed my top 10. After that, we have Life, which did make my top 10. I absolutely loved Life. This was such an amazing movie. I don't know why this film did not get the love that I think that it deserves, because this movie was awesome to me, and a lot of people weren't talking about it. After that, we have Kong Skull Island, and this movie is okay. Actually, I really liked it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's I guess it's okay in the terms of, like, it's kind of like by the numbers action type movie, but I've always wanted to see a King Kong movie that was completely dedicated to Skull Island, because that's the funnest part of the King Kong movies. And this one was cool, man. I did like this. I mean, some people complained that there's like this weird, like, comedic relief that goes on throughout the film, but I really like that too. I just had a blast with this one, honestly. It was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to see where the series goes next. This is actually something I was really excited about. So, I picked up the 8-movie collection Friday the 13th series on Blu-ray. I've actually never owned these films on Blu-ray. I think the only one I own on Blu-ray is Part 2, which I've never actually watched on Blu-ray. But I will say this, that when that tin came out, I honestly wasn't a fan of it. I thought the tin was a little weak. Jason Goes to Hell was cut. It wasn't the unrated version. I didn't like the design of the tin. I didn't like the price of it. I just skipped it. And then it went out of print, and then I never got it. And I was like, they'll re-release them eventually. And they did. And they did it in this, like, you know, style set that Paramount's, like, kind of doing now. We talked about it in the War of the Worlds set, where it's kind of just this simplified, just discs and a case set. And I like that about these sets. This is gonna save some space on my shelf, and I'm really happy to see that, you know, because my collections are so massive now that I don't have that much space left, until I have to figure out something, you know, figure something else out. So yeah, and I'm extremely happy to finally own these films on Blu-ray, because the next time I watch them, I know that I'll be able to watch them in HD, which is super cool. Alright, after that, we still got a lot to go, guys. We still got a ton to get through. And let's continue along here. So we have Red Christmas. This was an Artsploitation release, but I think it is an Australian film too, starring Dee Wallace. Pretty cool Christmas horror film. I liked it. After that, we have Hellraiser Judgment. We just covered the entire Hellraiser franchise, as I mentioned. And believe it or not, this film was actually pretty good. I did enjoy this film. It was pretty cool. After that, we have a Blu-ray copy here of Leatherface, which, oddly enough, I'm actually giving away the digital copy in the next Top 5 Friday video, so stay tuned to that. Every Top 5 Friday I give away a digital copy in the video. First come, first serve. But yeah, this movie I actually really like too. I know this film gets a ton of hate, but I liked it. It reminded me of, like, The Devil's Rejects. Like, it was like sort of a road horror film, like on the run type thing. I was okay with the differences in the chainsaw film. Like, yeah, this is, like, as a prequel, it doesn't really work that well, but at the same time, there's such a gap between this film and the events of the first Chainsaw film that it's kind of acceptable because anything else could have happened in between there. But I thought that this movie was neat. I really did. Like, I liked it as a one-off. Like, it's not the same as the rest of the series, but, like, as a one-off, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. The continuity in Chainsaw is just so messed up, though. After that, we have Wish Upon. This was sent to me by Broad Green Pictures. This movie was actually pretty okay. Like, it was not the greatest PG-13 horror, but it was okay. I didn't mind it. I definitely didn't mind it. It was okay. I think I gave it like a 6 or something like that. After that, we had an A24 release here by Lionsgate. I've actually never seen this film. And it is Rooney Mara and a ghost story. It looks kind of cool. I don't think this is a horror film at all. It's like sort of like a drama or something like that. I don't know. I'll get to it eventually, but it was just one of those titles where it looked like it was going to be a horror film. It's called a ghost story. Sorry guys, the camera died, but let's continue along here. Next up, we have Stephen King's It. This is, I guess, like not the remake. People get really annoyed when you say that because it's just another adaptation, apparently. Like, the second adaptation of the It story. Stephen King's most well-known story, I'd probably say, is probably It. And they did another version of it, and it was really good. It really was. I watched it again after Warner Brothers sent me this copy. I didn't like it as much as I did in the theater. I still prefer the original It. But this one is a really good movie, and I'm very much looking forward to part 2 if they ever begin filming. I think they need to start filming. I don't think they should have took that year off in between because these kids are going to look hella older in 2 years, you know what I mean? So we'll see what happens with that, but apparently they're beginning casting for the adults and stuff like that. But I'm really looking forward to that next year. After that, we have Terminator 2 Judgment Day. This is my first 4K release ever, so I'm actually really happy to have Terminator 2 on 4K. I still don't have a 4K TV yet. I'm planning on getting one probably this holiday season. We'll see how it goes, but you know, that's something that I've been really interested in is 4K, and I need to get a 4K TV first. But the Blu-ray, man, Terminator 2 is literally one of my favorite movies of all time, like top 3 non-horror films, and it is just such a good watch. So happy to have that as my first 4K, and one day when I get the player and the TV, I'll watch the 4K version. After that, we have Houses October Built 2. This one was okay. I didn't love it. I liked the first one a little bit more. This one's ending is really weird too. I don't know. It was just like a weird sequel that just came out of nowhere, and it was just okay. Or LJ Entertainment hooked me up with a copy of this. I did a review on it. It came a little banged up in the mail. The slipcover is all damaged, but you know, can't complain. After that, we have one of my favorite films of last year. This is from Well Go USA Entertainment, and that is Better Watch Out. This slipcover is awesome too. This is one of my favorite Christmas horror films of all time. I watched it 3 times. That's right, 3 times since October, and I am not a big rewatcher, so I was really happy to check this one out as many times as I did. I just loved it. It was so cool to me. Had so many cool references and just like had that Christmas vibe, and I actually just was really interested in the story. I felt like this movie you know, had a little bit of balls, and it was definitely an awesome flick. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely give it a shot. I believe it's on Shudder as a Shudder exclusive. After that, we have a Arrow Academy. I just got this one in the mail today. This is a 5-film collection called Godard and Garon. I'm not exactly sure what these are all like. Jeez, I don't even know. I think they're. Oh, he's a Russian filmmaker, I believe. Okay, I don't know anything about these flicks, much like all of the Arrow Academies that I get. I'm not sure about them. I mean, I say this every video, but I will eventually check these out. I just have so much on the plate right now, and they're non-horror, like art house stuff. So, there's a couple of other Arrow Academies. We have The Legend of the Holy Drinker. It's kind of a cool cover. After that one, we have The Voice of the Moon. Some of these covers are really interesting. This is a weird one. We have Zoology. And this one's weird because it's in a blue case. All of my arrows are in clear cases except for this one and one other one. So that was just really bizarre when I got this in and it was in a blue case. Then we have The Apartment, which I really like the art to this cover too. This one's a 1960 film, I believe. But yeah, this one sounded kind of interesting. After that, we have Viva l'Italia. Don't know much about that one. It looks like some sort of Italian film. Oh, it's a documentary. After that, we have The Witches, also in Arrow Academy. I mean, that one at least sounds kind of horror, right? And then we have this cool looking cover. Looks like an Argento or something. It's called Inferno. So that one seems to be a thriller of some kind. After that, we have Orchestra Rehearsal, The Decline of West in C Major. I have no idea what that means. These Arrow Academies are weird, man. They put out a lot of these things. And then finally for Arrow Academy, we have Images, which is a newer one that I got, I believe. So some more Arrow Academies to add. I mean, at this point, they're putting out way more Arrow Academies than they are regular Arrow titles, which is, I guess they sell well. After that, we have a Arrow, JD's Revenge. I did check this one out because it is a 1976 film, and we are covering those in our next Top 10 podcast. But this was really fun. This is like a blaxploitation film that was about sort of like a possession. Really, really cool stuff. I actually really much enjoyed this one. If you've ever seen it, check it out. After that, we have, this was weird. I got a DVD in from them, and it was Michael Caine and Pulp. Haven't watched this one yet, but I did get a DVD of it. But they also sent in a Blu-ray of it, so I'll probably give that DVD away. They've never done that before, so I don't know what was up with that. But we got the Blu-ray of Pulp there. After that, we have Animal Factory, which I'm definitely interested in. This was the other blue-cased Arrow. Standard Blu-ray looking case, but it's still like the thicker versions. I have no idea what's up with that, but this is a Steve Buscemi directed film starring Edward Furlong and William Dafoe, so this sounds really neat. I'm definitely checking this out very soon. After that, we have The Suspicious Death of a Minor, which I didn't even remember getting. This is Sergio Martino. That's really cool. I didn't even notice it. This was just kind of sitting there. Huh. Alright, cool. That's neat. I didn't even know that I got that one. And that's so bad, isn't it? That's so bad. After that, I was really, I don't know, this one just does not interest me. But it is A Fish Called Wanda, which stars Jamie Lee Curtis. I think it's like a comedy. I don't know. Yeah, it's a comedy. I don't know. This just doesn't seem like... the title's weird. I don't know. It's a weird one. After that, I totally forgot that I didn't get to this one, but this is Don't Torture a Duckling, a Lucio Fulci film. I totally forgot about this one. This one was at the very bottom of my stack, and I just never got around to it, but that is a Fulci film that I haven't seen yet, so I think I got it right around Italian Horror Month too, which actually would have been perfect to watch. After that, we have Children of the Corn. I did check out this one. Man, I love Children of the Corn. This was like a great watch. I watched this one on Halloween night, I believe, which was really, really cool and fun. Or Halloween night eve, so Devil's Night. I had a lot of fun with it. I actually really liked the slipcover on this one. They did a good job. After that, we have Blood Feast. I watched and reviewed this one back in October. I think this might be one. It might be the first Herschel Gordon Lewis, but I definitely know. Yeah, his first ever splatter movie. So yeah, that's Blood Feast. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. It was definitely interesting because I've never seen that film before, so I was actually really interested in finally seeing it. And then I just got these two the other day. For the final arrows here, we have the Gruesome Twosome, which I believe, is this another Herschel Gordon Lewis film? I believe so. I've never seen this one, but this one looks really cool. So this is they're releasing some of the films from that box set that Arrow put out, the giant Herschel Gordon Lewis set that I ended up not getting, unfortunately. And then also we have Scalpel, which I've never seen, but this looks really neat. This is probably the most like interesting Arrow release I've got in months, because it seems like they were really pumping out the Arrow Academies and not really much else, honestly. Like, it's been pretty dry for Arrow since back to like October, but they're starting to pick up again. But I'm gonna check this one out soon. Okay, let me slide these over. We've got such a mess going on here, guys. Alright, we're in our final stretch here. So first up we have 1 Million BC. I watched this. This was a VCI release that was sent to me. This was actually not too bad. Like, I wanted to see this because it's like one of those, like, it looked like a Harryhausen type, like, old school movie. It was a little weird. There was like no like dialogue in it, and it just really wasn't, I don't know, it was okay. It was like more of a love story. I don't know. After that, we have, I just got this one in the other day. Really excited to check this out because I've never seen this, and that is Ichi the Killer. This is a film by Takashi Miike. I've only seen a handful of Miike films, and he's directed like 100 of them, so always down to check out some Miike. And this is apparently one of his more popular ones. I've always wanted to see this. Definitely a weird looking cover there. So this was sent to me from Well Go USA. So we're gonna get to this one real soon. After that, I got some Vestrons. I bought Slaughter High. I was bummed. I should have pre-ordered this one because it was like, I think like $23 was the lowest I seen it for. And then I couldn't find it cheap, and I was worried about not getting a slipcover, so I spent, I think, the full $25 on it, which is just ridiculous. But I have all of the Vestrons, and I have all the slipcovers, so I was just didn't want to wait too long and get screwed out of a slipcover. So I've learned my lesson. I'm pre-ordering them all from now on because they're usually a little bit cheaper on pre-order. But yeah, Slaughter High. I'm not even a huge fan of this movie, but I do collect the line. After that, we have Gothic, which is the 13th release by Vestron. I watched this one. This one was actually sent as a screener from Lionsgate. This one, I don't really like this movie too much. It's really boring. It truly, really is boring. I think the dialogue's extremely dry. It's a period piece, which I love period pieces, but this one couldn't hold my attention. So it's okay at best. Kind of a cool concept, you know, a almost prequel to like Frankenstein. At least the real life sort of, I guess, like idea of how Mary Shelley came up with the story and stuff like that. It was kind of a cool concept, but it wasn't executed that well. And finally, we have the latest Vestron release. We have Class of 1999, which I just watched the other day, and oh man, this movie is so awesome. I have seen it before. I have reviewed it before, but I really, really loved it this time watching it. It's just such a fun movie. The concept is ridiculous as hell, but it is a fun movie. After that, we have a couple of Criterions here. I don't get a lot of Criterions in, but I'm really happy when I do. We have Night of the Living Dead, which I recently checked out, and the transfer is amazing. I'm not super impressed with the design of this release. I think it's a little weak. The case doesn't feel as sturdy as you would like from Criterion. But that being said, this release is cheaper than most of their releases, so still a good release, just the packaging isn't the greatest. But I love the cover, and the movie is 10 out of 10, awesome, absolutely love it. Continuing along here, the other Criterion we have is Vampire, which I did watch back in October, like sort of like the day or two before Halloween. And this movie is awesome. It's only 73 minutes long, but it's just really, really atmospheric and chilling and stuff like that. If you've never seen it, definitely give it a shot. This is a cool release too. Alright, and moving along here, we have a couple of Doppelganger releases. First up, we have Summer of Fear, which I did a mini review on a while ago. This is a 1978 TV movie. directed by Wes Craven, starring Linda Blair. It's actually a really solid witch movie. A lot of people have never seen this film, and I recommend picking up this Blu-ray. This is a movie that was hard to find for the longest time because it had a release by Lionsgate, I think, but it went out of print, and it was hard to get a hold of. But I had seen it a while ago, and I really like it. I think it's one of Wes Craven's more underrated films. So if you've never seen it, definitely check it out. It's really cool. It definitely has that TV quality to it, but it's still an awesome movie. And then after that, this is an Argento film, and this is Opera, which a lot of people consider this to be Argento's last great movie. I don't think it is. I really like the Stendhal Syndrome as well as Mother of Tears. I wouldn't say Mother of Tears is great, but I think Stendhal's pretty great. But Opera is really great. Opera is one of Argento's best films, 100%. Like, this is probably in my top 3 favorite Argento films. Maybe even my second favorite, just next to Suspiria is my number 1. But Opera is awesome. It is such a beautiful film. Good music, good story, good imagery, great gore. If you've never seen Opera, definitely pick this up. It's not even that expensive. It's a Scorpion / Code Red / Doppelganger release, and it's definitely worth picking up. Great transfer as well. And then I just got this one in the mail, also from Doppelganger Scorpion. It is Michele Soave's The Sect, which I've never seen. Dario Argento presented this one. This is, I think, the last horror film that I haven't seen from Soave, and I'm really excited to check this one out. It's like super high on the list of mine. Wow, it actually stars Jamie Lee Curtis's sister? Is that really true? Jamie Lee has a sister? Huh. That's what it says on the back. That's interesting. But yeah, I'm gonna check this one out really soon because I love what they're putting out over there at Doppelganger. Alright, let's get into some... What do we got here? Let's get into some Vinegar Syndrome. So first up here, we have a double feature here. We have Primeval and Lurkers. Both of these were pretty solid. I think I liked Primeval a little bit better. Kind of a little bit ridiculous of a film here, but this is 2 films by Roberta Findlay, and these are always awesome to get, these sort of odd, obscure movies from Vinegar Syndrome from 87 and 88. Pretty cool release. After that, we have Bloodbeat. Now, this movie was absolutely awful, but it's such an oddity that it's so cool to actually own on Blu-ray because of how neat the special edition is, and like dude, I did a few reviews on this film. It's absolutely awful, but it is just a complete oddity, and that's why I love Vinegar Syndrome, because they put out these weirdo movies. After that is a newer one that I just got in. I just watched it the other day. It's called Lucifer's Women, which I've never heard of. It's from 1974. It says, in the year 1954, 3 women claimed to have made love to the devil himself. This is a weird sort of story here. So, this release includes this film, Lucifer's Woman, as well as a movie called Dr. Dracula, which apparently, let me just read the back here. So, directed by Paul Artau and starring prolific stage performer Larry Hankin, as well as erotic film stars Paul Thomas, blah, blah, blah. Lucifer's Woman is a slow burn study in satanic obsession with black mass scenes supervised by Anton LaVey. Never released on home video and long assumed lost, Vinegar Syndrome is proud to present the home video debut of this forgotten shocker, newly restored from recently unearthed negative elements. Also included is the all-new restoration of Al Adamson's schizoid reworking of the film titled Dr. Dracula. So, Lucifer's Women came out, was released in the Grindhouse theaters and stuff, never released on home video, and then somebody recut the movie and, inserted some new scenes and called it Dr. Dracula. Very interesting. Both films are on here. That's why I love Vinegar Syndrome, for putting out stuff like that. After that, We have a couple of Vinegar Syndromes here from a while ago, both of which are really solid. We have Demon Wind, which I'm pretty sure I seen as a kid. This is like a really cool demon flick, like very reminiscent of The Evil Dead. Obviously not as good, but super cool release by Vinegar Syndrome. Good transfer on that as well. And then we have Corpse Grinders, which is like kind of like a Killer Cat film, honestly. And this one was a lot of fun as well. I've reviewed this one. This is a great watch. Last two Vinegar Syndromes, we have Ice Cream Man, which, whew, boy, I'm so happy I got a copy of this. This is an absolute awesome release. Absolutely love it. It's limited. Carly actually bought me this for Christmas because she knew I wanted it that like so much. So very happy to have this. And after that, final flick here. I just got this in the mail from Vinegar Syndrome the other day, and that is Prey, which is a awesome looking movie. It looks like some kind of crazy erotic alien type thing, and this is the first time the film's been released fully uncut since the VHS release, so that's really neat. And let's get into, now we got some umbrellas here from the last couple months. We have The Entity. I did a review on this. This movie is absolutely awesome. It's a like rape film that stars Barbara Hershey, where she's being raped by a ghost. It's really messed up, and the only problem is it kind of goes downhill in the end. After that, we have Cat's Eye. I did a review on this one. This is an anthology film based on a couple of Stephen King stories. This is one of my favorite anthologies. I absolutely love it. I like all three stories, starring a young Drew Barrymore as well. All three stories are really good. After that, we have The Devil's Rejects, which, man, this is an oddball cover. It looks like, you guys ever play the game Borderlands? It looks like something out of Borderlands. But yeah, this movie, absolutely fantastic. 10 out of 10. One of the best movies ever made, in my opinion. I absolutely love it, and truly solidified Rob Zombie as a cinematic genius, in my opinion. It's such a controversial statement, I know it, but I love it. After that, we have Fair Game. Just got this one. Haven't got to it yet. It's like one of the last umbrellas that I have to watch. But I've seen it before, and it's awesome. I can tell you guys right now, this is one you will want to pick up. If you guys don't mind importing from Umbrella based out of Australia, dude, if you're going to grab one thing, grab this right now, because this movie's not been released on, I don't even think, DVD in the United States. And it's such a cool movie. It actually made my number 10 spot of 1986. Basically, sort of a rape revenge film, and it follows a girl who's being tormented by like these hillbilly guys. It's just insane. They tie her to the front of her car, their car. It is just bad. You know, it's just crazy, So definitely pick that up. It's region free. Check it out. After that, we have Not Quite Hollywood, the story of exploitation, which actually features Fair Game, which is pretty cool. Definitely check this out if you never have. This is a fantastic documentary. Then we have Orca, the Killer Whale, which I believe this is the first time that this has been released on Blu-ray. Region 1, well, technically it's out of Australia, but I don't think there's a Region 1 Blu-ray, so this is the next best thing. But yeah, this movie's really, really weird. It's like a Jaws ripoff. I recently reviewed it on 22 Shots. That'll be actually on Wednesday's episodes. Check that review out. Then we have The Land at Time Forgot. I actually checked this out, and it's a movie that I actually seen as a kid, and I always remembered a scene where they're up on like a mountain or a volcano or something, and they're looking down on all these like tribes people and stuff. And I always wondered for the life of me what movie that was, and I finally found it. So that was really cool. This movie kind of has a little bit, like the effects do not hold up like they did when I was a kid. Everything looked real as hell when I was a kid, but still some really, really neat stuff in here. Giant monsters and dinosaurs and stuff like that. Really cool stuff. Check it out if you've never seen it. After that, we have Suspiria, which is the Blu-ray edition. Still got to pop this in. I just recently watched this film on 35mm, so I was kind of waiting a little bit to check it out on Blu-ray, but awesome release. Also, Synapse released it in the States, but you know, this is another version that you can get. And then we have another film not been released on Blu-ray in the States yet. Kind of a weird cover, not sure I love it, but we have Silver Bullet here. I watched this and absolutely loved it. It is such a good movie. I did not realize how good of a movie this was. I'd seen it before years ago, and I just was like, oh yeah, it was okay for the first time, and then watching it again, I absolutely fell in love with it. It is such a fun Stephen King movie. Check it out if you never have. After that, and I'll definitely check out that release. After that, we have Death Wish 2 and 3. Now I could finally watch these. I've had them for a little bit, but I've never seen Death Wish 1. So I picked up Death Wish 1 really recently, and now I'm going to be able to check out Death Wish 1, 2, 3, and 4. I think there might be a 5th one, but yeah, that's pretty cool that Umbrella released these two on Blu-ray in a double feature. After that, we have, this was a great release. They released this back in like October. And this is Dark Age. This is a killer crocodile film that's never been released on Blu-ray, and yeah, they did a great job on this one. I did a review for it back in October if you're curious on my full opinions. Alright, getting down to the last stretch here, guys. We have some Full Moon titles. We have Barbed Wire Dolls, which is a Blu-ray here from the Jess Franco collection. 1976. This movie is like a dang porn because it's so like graphic. Like they do not shy away from the nudity and actual. I think there's even actual penetration of fingers and things like that. So yeah, very, very graphic. After that, we have Puppet Master Axis Termination. I went to watch this and I realized I still haven't seen the one that came right before this. So I need to see that one first, then I'll check out Axis Termination. I think it's Axis Rising, maybe? Yeah, I think so. After that, we have Laser Blast, which I haven't got into yet. But this one looks kind of cool. I've definitely heard of this one a bunch during the Full Moon era. And then there's a couple here that I actually did watch. So we have, first up we have Robot Wars, which is, it's not the greatest film in the world. It does star, what's her name, from Beyond and all that. Dang it, I forget her name. Barbara Crampton, sorry. Barbara Crampton's in this. It's okay. Like it's not one of my favorite Full Moon films, definitely. But yeah. So after that we have Puppet Master: The Legacy. This is sort of just like a clip show of the Puppet Master films. Not the greatest thing in the world. Probably one of the weaker Puppet Masters. And then after that, I got this a long time ago. I might have even shown this in a previous update. I couldn't remember. And that's Synapse's release of Popcorn, which I finally got to see. This came out in the year I was born, 1991. And you know, that's a pretty cool release. People have been waiting for it for a while. It's not the best movie in the world, but it was kind of cool. And then we got a few Blue Undergrounds here. We have The Lift and we have Down. This is like an original and a remake done by the same director about killer elevators. I actually prefer The Lift compared to Down. Down is just way too long and sort of dry, but yeah. And then we have a film that I was really looking forward to. This is Death Dream, and this is from the great Bob Clark. And it's sort of like a version of like The Monkey's Paw. This is a really good movie. I did a review on it for the 22 Shots, and it's very much like I guess what you'd say is sort of like a social commentary on like post-traumatic stress disorder done in a zombie style. Pretty cool. Definitely check it out. And then I think that's, oh, actually just two more releases here. I just got these in the mail last week. And it is Threads, which is a Severin Films release, which I know nothing about. Don't know anything about this film. And then Umberto Lenzi's Eaten Alive, which I've never seen. But it was banned in 38 countries, which is pretty cool. So we got a cannibal film here, which should be pretty cool. So those two are from Severin, which I love Severin. Severin puts out great stuff. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be getting many more Severins for review, unfortunately. But I do really enjoy Severin, so I'll probably buy the ones that I still want. So anyway, that's it, guys. That's the update. That was one hell of an update. I think that is my biggest update of all time. Like, I don't even know what I'm going to do with all of this stuff, right? Like, this is so much stuff, as you can see. Like, it's just so much stuff right now, like all these DVDs and VHSs, DVDs. Like, it is a lot of stuff. Like, I don't know where I'm gonna put it. I'm like out of space, so I don't know. Anyway, that's it, guys. See you guys next time. Peace.